Namaste everybody. My name is Rupashit Nanda and I'm from Arya Samaj Greater Houston, and my topic is going to be the law of karma. Nahi kaschit ksharamapi jatu tishthatya karma krit karyate hyavashah karma sarva prakriti jai gunahi, which means nobody ever remains without doing an action, even for a moment indeed. Because everybody is helplessly driven to action by nature-born qualities. This Gita Shlok portrays that nobody ever remains without performing action. To live a life, you have to perform action. And every action always has a result, whether it be expected or unexpected. Now, in this world, we see some imbalances between the action and the result. And what I mean by this is we see some people who do hard work, put in all their best, but they receive little results, while we see some people who are lazy and do little work, but they get more results. And these imbalances confuse many people about what karma really is. And to understand these imbalances, we need to first understand what is the law of karma and what karma really is. It is stated that Na bhuktam kshiyate karma kalpa koti shatairapi avashyameva bhuktavyam kritam karma shubha shubham, which means a person will definitely enjoy the fruits of his action, whether it be good or bad. But without giving the results, without receiving the results, an action does not die out even after billions of years. This is the basis of the law of karma. The word karma and the basic concept behind it appears in songs, television shows, and movies. And many people in the Western world seem to have some grasp of what karma really is. Well, karma is literally defined as a specific action or deed. The law of karma states that every action has an equal result. Maybe it is bouncing a ball and is going up and down. That's a result to an action. In the Mahabharata, it states that just as a man himself sows, so he himself reaps. No man inherits the fruit of another man. The fruit is of the same quality as the action. Thus, good actions and intentions always bring upon good results, and bad actions and intentions always bring upon bad results. Now, as you can see, this is a cycle of karma. So first it starts with the action, then it goes to the impression, which makes the tendency, then it becomes into a thought pattern, and then it's a cycle all over again. The thought pattern creates the action, and it goes all over again. Now, certain actions may bring the rewards instantly, immediately, or at some point in the future, or maybe even in another lifetime. Or the results may be so spaced apart that there may seem no correlation between the action and the result. Also, karma not works only in this lifetime, but across lifetimes. And actions results may be experienced after the present life. The law of karma is a cosmic law that is a system of justice that is fair and self-governing. It applies to everyone, everywhere, and all the time. Humans have free wills to perform any actions they wish to, but they should know that every action has a result. Now let's move on to the phases of karma. There are three: Kriyamana, Sanchitta, and Prarabdha. Kriyamana is action with instant results, or any actions performed in the present and we receive the results immediately. It is basically the concept that is popularly thought of when the term karma is used in the Western culture. We can also use the archer terminology or analogy to understand what Kriyamana karma is. So as you can see, the archer is ready to shoot his arrow. That means he's doing it right now in the present, which is Kriyamana karma, as he's is ready to shoot it, and his actions will bring immediate results. The results may be whether he hits the target or not. Now let's move on to the second phase, which is Sanchitta karma, or action with accumulated results. This is basically any past actions we have done, maybe in another past lifetime, or any actions done right now that have not led to an immediate result. They all get accumulated together until they're ready to bear fruit. And when the result starts to appear, it is called Prarabdha karma. First, I'll also show you Sanchitta karma through the archer analogy. As you can see, Sanchitta karma can be symbolized by the quiver.
quiver, the arrow in the quiver. As you can see, these arrow can represent actions, and the quiver is the thing that is accumulating the arrows, and it is going to. And when the archer decides to use it, then it becomes, then it translates into prarabdha karma. And you can also think of it as a fixed deposit because it's accumulated together. Now, if we go on to prarabdha karma, which is a part of sanchipta karma, a collection of past karmas or reaction that is visible now because of some action that was done sometimes before. It is a collection of past action that affects us in the present life. It is also known to, it is responsible for creating unexpected good fortune or misfortune in somebody's lives. This leads to many people to resent God and start blaming God for their bad fortune and misery. In fact, God does not create any bad fortune or good fortune for anybody. It is the individual's karma that creates good fortune or bad fortunes in their own lives. And also, prarabdha karma can also be identified using the archer analogy. As you can see, all the arrows he has already shot is prarabdha karma because it is in the past. And it affects his present because it is defining his skill and is making him more skillful as an archer. So as you can see, what happens in the past also affects his present, which is prarabdha karma. Now, we shall see how law of karma also affects reincarnation. Rebirth or reincarnation are inseparable from karma, and rebirth is a part of karma. Rebirth is also known as a cycle of birth and death. The process is called samsara, and it goes on and on. In the Gita, it is stated that Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grinati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirna nanyani sanyati navani dehi. Which means, just as a person casts off worn-out garments and puts on others that are new, the embodied souls casts off worn-out bodies and puts on others that are new. The soul is immortal and is not affected by any changes in the physical body. The soul takes on one form after the other, depending on the previous action. The soul also takes, at death, the soul takes away, along with the mind and senses, the soul leaves the body to inhabit a new body. Also, at death, the soul carries away impressions of past experiences of every action done that molds the character of the next individual. When the soul either takes form into a human form or non-human form, depending on past karma. When the soul achieves moksha or liberation, it is freed from the cycle of birth and death. So finally, as you can see, that the law of karma is a cosmic law, meaning it applies to everyone, everything, and all the time. Humans have free wills and can perform any actions they wish to, but they should know that every action has a result. Now there are three phases of karma, which are Kriyamana, action with instant result, Sanchitta, action with a cumulative result, and Prarabdha, fructifying results. The law of karma also plays a big part in reincarnation and rebirth. Dhanyavad.